Mondays through Fridays, 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. in the newsroom. You can't afford to miss it.
Yes, good afternoon, viewers at home. Welcome to this afternoon's edition of In the Newsroom on Osbc television. Iliabuye Okebale Oshobo. Babatunde Bolatito is my name, and we have three big topics to discuss here this afternoon, as I have three big guests who are going to do justice to the topics. First, let me give you the topic before going to the dramatic personnel for this program this afternoon. I want to start by from this one. Election. We are watching Nigeria carefully. United Nations. 2. Cashless policy. Buhari extends usage of old 200 naira note by 60 days. 3. Marketers ignore federal government sell petrol for over 230 naira per liter. Those are the three topics. And the guests who are going to do justice to these topics are already seated here. To my immediate right, I have Dayo Olalepeku. In fact, if I want to pay him back in his own coin, I will say Mr. Dayo Olalepeku. So, Mr. Dayo, we are making it official. Mr. Dayo Olalepeku.
Good afternoon, viewers, and welcome to Friday's edition of the newsroom. I'm happy to be back in the newsroom.
Yes. Adebe Kupora is also here. It's a very regular face on the program, especially on Fridays like this. Adebe, you are welcome to the program.
We thank God for bringing us back to journalist parliament.
Yes.
Where issues pertaining to government,
and their
policies and so on and so forth are discussed.
Yes, dispassionately. A debutant of the program who is debuting as a guest is here. Though he's not debuting as a presenter, because he has been a moderator all along. But today he's going to be a guest on this program. I'm talking about Adebade Ijumakinde. Ijumakinde, you're welcome to the program.
Good afternoon, viewers. It's lovely to have you on the program.
Yes. Election. We are watching Nigeria carefully. United Nations. Elections we have had elections in this country, a lot of them. The United Nations has not come out to say this. Now they are saying it. What do you think are the factors responsible for this?
Once again, good afternoon, viewers, and welcome to the newsroom. Friday. We see the United Nations will not but be worried. Don't forget that the United Nations has always been giving technical support to Nigeria, especially when an election like this and some other, even in terms of population census.
Okay.
And aside that, don't be surprised that Nigeria remains the most populated Black Africa. And when Nigeria sneezes, other countries catches cold.
Yes.
No doubt about it. Except we want to deceive ourselves. Aside that, don't also forget that Nigeria is surrounded by countries with military incursion, military coups, Mali. And the role of Nigeria, the role of Nigeria in Black Africa leaves much to be desired. And so there's no doubt the fact that a dismembered Nigeria means a lot to the United Nations. And so by telling us they have to monitor what they know the implication of in a dismembered Nigeria. May God forbid it. So if their interest matters, they see Nigeria as leader in Black Africa. They see Nigeria as role model to African countries and West African continent, African continent and West African countries. They see Nigeria as a force to be reckoned with. And so telling us that they are monitoring us, I think they should. They know they are interested in the election, I think they should, because of the role of Nigeria in the African continent.
Yes, Popola.
Yes.
The United Nations says they are watching Nigeria. In what areas do you think they are watching Nigeria, and why?
You see, when you are watching somebody, you could be watching a particular person or a scene for different significant reasons. One, you may be watching a person or a country for the purpose of placing him or placing that country, placing it on a particular standard. You could be watching a person to know, yes, if this person is given this role to play, will he be able to play it well? You see, we have different significant reasons why United Nations could be watching Nigeria. But as far as this election is concerned, if you take a look at what Nigeria has been saying, even pre-independence Nigeria, you will see that Nigeria is a country with destiny. Nigeria is a country with people of people that could be, recognized in some areas. You see, areas of significance that Nigeria could be recognized, is dated back at let's say 40s. You see, during the struggle for independence, people like Obafemi Awolowo, Nnamdi Azikiwe, Ahmadu Bello, and so on and so forth. The way Nigeria came together and the way we have been managing, our affairs of the country, our unity,
our fragile unity,
you see, even the way we managed the crisis, the post-independence crisis, that was a population census of 1964. The way we managed the maturity displayed by people like Nnamdi Azikiwe, Obafemi Awolowo, and so on and so forth. Now, and the way we managed the crisis of 1999 constitution, you see, the election went to court, even up to the Supreme Court. The decision of the Supreme Court then was so bizarre. Nigeria still, Nigeria overcame that problem. You see, Nigeria is a country that should be watched by anybody because we have a peculiar way of doing things. Even the United Nations, they might not be watching us for the purpose of placing us as in a black record. No, but how do these people, how do they manage things? This could be, example or a method that could be used elsewhere. So we have, so many significant ways through which that could initiate United Nations to to be monitoring the affairs of the country.
Nigeria is going to an election, and as we prepare here, the United Nations is also preparing there. I think because from what they have said here, it means they are preparing just the way we are preparing. And any moment from now, we will begin to have, them. Watching Nigeria, of what benefit will it be to the United Nations?
All right. Let me start by saying why the UN, the United Nations, is watching Nigeria.
Yeah.
Like my senior colleague has just put it, Nigeria is a giant of Africa. So we are key in that area, in that territory. So if Nigeria can be able to get it right, they know that the whole Africa will get democracy right. So when we are saying we are role model and we are watching the developed nations, we are watching their practices as regarding democracy and sustenance of good governance. We want to learn from them and we should practicalize it. So the United Nations expect Nigerians to play the ball according to the rules. So that by the time we get it right, they will know that yes, democracy is entrenched, strengthened, and sustained. So that others can learn from the country. So United Nations is watching the government. and activities of the government is watching the activities of the political stakeholders, watching the INEC, and watching other political stakeholders, like I put it. You know, remember that they have just threatened. I mean, they are either threatened that they are watching political stakeholders and they are ready to impose sanctions on them, whoever that undermine democracy in the country. So Nigeria is a very key in Africa. You know that Nigeria can play a good role in Africa. We are the leader of Africa. So if we are able to get it right, then we'll be able to encourage other African countries to do the right things. And by the time we do the right things, it means we are behaving in a pattern that is acceptable to the world, which is acceptable to the UN. UN want us to be like them, to do the things according to standard. So there are so many benefits. By the time we get it right, if Nigeria gets it right, it means Nigeria must be respecting the rights, the human rights, so that there will be no more killing, there will be no violence. If the election is free, credible, free and fair, and there is no violence, it means we respect human beings, we respect the right of individuals. It means we are complying to the constitution of not only in the country, even in the world.
Thank you very much. Yes, and because Governor Nasir El-Rufai has just made a very, very big accusation that all that are happening around Nigeria now are ploy, or is a ploy as it were, to bring in an interim government. That statement has been given multiple interpretations. Maybe one of those reasons, maybe that is one of those reasons that is responsible for what the UN is saying. But be that as it may, what El-Rufai said, Dayo, and Popola, because the two of you are lawyers, what does it not sound treasonable?
Well, it depends on the interpretation. As a sitting governor, maybe his observation of the happenings. If you call it treasonable, well, like I said, it depends on interpretation. But see, as a sitting governor, and you see, which this might lead us to the next question. And you have your money in the bank, you are not going, or you are not asking for loan, and you can't access your money.
That's another.
Nigeria, is it the highest producer of oil in Africa, and you cannot access crude oil. So you see, El-Rufai may be right by whatever he believes in. Look, what is happening? But it's not constitutional anyway. There is no place for interim government in the constitution, and I'm not sure that that can ever come up. But see, maybe these are some, like maybe that's one of the reasons why the United Nations is expressing doubt. Yes. Don't forget, in this country we have seen predictions or forecasts of Nigeria breaking, and that Nigeria 200 million are still holding on to today, to the glory of God. And don't forget that United Nations will be in Nigeria to observe elections. Yeah. By next week they should be arriving. And don't forget that some people are already. So there are some people who have denied visa in some European countries for trying to manipulate a tribunal or judgment. So you see, there's no doubt that will be worried. Don't forget, Nigeria is a country within is like countries within the country. When we are talking of different languages, different culture, different tradition, and that this country can still survive. You have seen United Nations, you have seen in European countries that Nigeria cannot survive 2022, 2020, 2015. Today we are in 2023 and the country is surviving. So United Nations is interested in whatever goes on. And like I said, don't forget, they provide technical support on everything we do in Nigeria, including INEC, Provincial Commission, and even health, UNDP, UNICEF. So they should be interested in the country of 200 million.
Yes, Popola.
Yes.
I want you to take a look at the question I asked. what does El-Rufai mean by making that statement?
You see,
How does it sound to you?
You see, El-Rufai is a governor. El-Rufai is an individual in Nigeria. You see, within a democratic setting like Nigeria, and in a situation where we have people of different cultures and the people of different traditions, and so on and so forth, you know, suspicion is something that is very common in a situation like that. But to God be the glory. The incumbent president in Nigeria today is from the north, where El-Rufai is hailed. Now, if El-Rufai is saying that for the purpose of interim government, that all these things is happening, now one will ask, to jeopardize who?
Or to subvert what?
Or to subvert what?
Or to achieve what?
Or to achieve what? Are you getting me? So one will, I think El-Rufai is in a better position to elucidate, to elucidate more on what he says, but within the range of error, plus or minus. One will infer, you can draw inference from what the man is saying, that maybe El-Rufai himself is privy to a clandestine plan arrangement somewhere. Because El-Rufai himself, the Kaduna where El-Rufai is the governor, used to be, you know, a very dangerous terrain when it becomes to power mafia in Nigeria. So I think maybe the man is saying, you know, handwriting on the wall.
Before we close on that, let me take something from Ejimakele. What is your interpretation of what El-Rufai said?
To me, concerning what El-Rufai said, I will see him as a strategist, because he's a politician. What do I mean by that? You know, for every policy, there will be reactions. Okay, and this is a contest, electoral contest is now at hand. So politicians would like to strategize on how to win the poll. So some people will say, this is a kind of strategy to win the poll, to convince the electorate voters or electorates.
Oh, thank you.
That is one area.
Yeah.
And another thing is that it might be true, but if it is true, I expect him to report to the concerned authority, give the details to them, so that investigation can begin. And from my own personal perspective, El-Rufai is being loyal. Is always loyal to anybody in government or anybody coming into government. During Obasanjo's regime, he was loyal to Obasanjo to a fault. That he was given promotion from the position of man in charge of BPE
to the ministerial
position, and from there he became a governor. And the closest governor to Aso Rock
today or any time
is El-Rufai.
One of the closest. Or you want to?
One of the closest.
Okay.
Because
by your
yes. And this time around, he is shifting loyalty from Buhari to Tinubu, who is the presidential candidate of his party. And people have seen it as loyalty carried too far. Because what he said is capable of threatening the unity of Nigeria.
As I told that same governor, what he sees, by the way, you will not see it.
Right.
And so don't entirely castigate him.
Well, that takes us to the next topic. Cashless policy. Buhari extends uses of old 200 notes by 60 days. And this one has drawn reactions from people. Was it Serap or what, said if Buhari want to perform as a president of a united Nigeria, and that is not trying to punish some people because of recent death note to him, it is rather sensible for him to say the two currencies should exist side by side until the old note is allowed to give way for the new one. So introducing only 200 naira notes is to them, they said, is not good. But you may have a reason for that. Let me start from Popola this time. What do you think will be the reason for releasing only 200 naira notes?
You see, the reason for allowing 200 naira to continue to be illegal tender, you see, is the reason.
The old 200 naira
note. The old 200 naira note is the reason for introducing this currency redesigning policy.
Okay.
Now, what is the purpose? I mean, what are the reasons behind this new naira notes injection into the new? One will not blame Buhari. Buhari has seen everything beyond what any of us, sees. Why? You will remember that around this time, 4 years ago, was this introduction of trade money.
Trader money.
That is it trading money or trader money? Trader money. You remember, were taken from the central bank, undocumented, and were lavished, around the country. The VP was involved, and several other people like that. Who gave them that idea? Who gave them that idea? Now, you remember billions of naira that were wasted, or that was wasted around this time, or whenever there is election in Nigeria. No responsible president will allow that to occur or to continue,
especially when it's going out.
Particular, you see, I cherished what Buhari is doing. Nigeria economy has been battered. Nigeria economy is in shambles. Nigerian economy, has been so mesmerized to the level that see the price of Congo of Gari in the market today. You will see that Naira doesn't mean anything in the market. Naira doesn't mean what? Anything in the market. It means that the country is at the level of hyper galloping inflation, where a large sum is now trailing just peanuts. So a responsible government will find means of replowing into the economy all those amounts that were stashed in different homes. Mind you, within government departments, you will see a lot of mess. Some government departments have been so looted to the level that all the money there, are stashed, in different in private vaults. Without, politicians who control Naira now today, they don't do anything with it. They just keep it somewhere. It is only during the election time
that it will be useful.
That will be useful. Instead of concentrating on people-oriented programs that will sell them to the electorate, they will be amassing Naira. They will be coagulating currency for the purpose of election. I'm coming. in the last speech, nationwide broadcast, you remember what the president says, that when he came in, only 1.4 trillion naira was in circulation, but today over 3 point something naira trillion was in circulation. What type of economy do we have in Nigeria that we, even in the US, the US, doesn't have up to that amount in their economy where we have virtually everything on ground. And what this amount, 3 point something million, over 2 point something trillion of it is in the hand of politicians.
Okay, let me go to Dayo before going to Ejima.
So there is need to mop all this money.
Yes.
My brother, it's an afterthought on the part of the president. I consider that if you see the crisis that has generated in Nigeria now, you weep for this country. What the question everybody was, why now? Why not during the first time or second time of it? Why is it that the man is on his way out? That these policies are coming up? You see, people who are saying that it is targeted at some, they could be right. But see, those targeted, are they really feeling the pains? These are the people that the bank manager will carry money to go and meet them in the house. Go and see banks now. I have the money. I'm not asking that. I'm not borrowing money. I'm not taking loan. Give me the money I kept with you. I cannot access it. A retired director general was discussing with me of this. He went to a bank and they are giving 1,000 naira. A family man. And he went back. They give him 3,000 naira. Out of his money, he's keeping with you. I think it is misplaced priority and it's an afterthought. This policy should have been introduced before now. Why is it that when we are moving towards the election that this policy is coming up?
Let's
sincerity of purpose.
Yeah.
As good as the policy may be, it's coming at a long time. When one move towards the election, two, people, the illiterate. You are talking of even transferring internet banking. Are we right for internet banking in this country where the servers are always down? Those of them who have money in a particular bank, I will not mention a new generation bank, that's so different now. It's not about this, but they are server down. You cannot access money in those banks, and there are people like someone like me and you, civil servants, who could not access their money. So these are some of the things one will be taking another look at it. Look, why now?
Well, the people say that they want to go cashless.
No, good for them. Why now?
If we are going cashless in Nigeria, one, take a look at the time frame. Take a look at the timing itself, and the rumored
this policy
the reasons given by the president.
The old and the new should go along, so that as we spend, the old it fades out, it introduces new. But when you draw 2.7 trillion naira from circulation and you are giving out 500 billion new money, and they are money, if you are targeting kidnappers, targeting whatever politicians, must not affect those of us whose salaries are getting stopped.
What about you? You have the floor,
all right. You see, this cashless policy and cash swap program has been widely criticized and greeted with protests across the nation.
Yeah.
And the intervention of the presidency or of the federal government would have been better if it had come earlier than experience the recirculation of the 200 naira into circulation, because many people have lost their lives. Many people killed with the aim of collecting money at the ATM machine. They lost their life because they didn't have anything to eat. So they lost stamina. And many people, because of the health grants, they couldn't access money. Because, and other factors, because the medical practitioners are demanding evidence of transfer or whatever, or cash. So they have lost their loved ones. So for those people who ask them, they will say the intervention would have been better if it had come earlier. It would have saved more lives, to have restored peace in the nation, contrary to what we are witnessing. Like today now we heard what is happening in Lagos. How the police has just waded in
and
even
in Rivers State,
the protests. Not only in Lagos, across
in Ogun State.
It's happening now. Yes, I think when we talk about this cashless policy, it would have been better if necessary things have been put in place. The facilities. One, a stable network, improved network services. That one would have been better. I expect the federal government to have done that very well, like in other countries in Kenya. Are you getting now? They say they have better facilities, and it aids that cashless policy. So with the introduction of this 200 naira, well, in one way it brings relief to a certain extent. Why? It will be of help to promote the economy. Remember the market women, they need all these lower currencies. It will aid currencies. So all these lower currencies, 100 naira, 200 naira, they're supposed to have started from that area to make it in abundance, to make it available in circulation in abundance. Are you getting now? So all those ones would have helped. Nigeria would not feel the hardship as such, or as we are experiencing these days. So that is the area we are looking at. And remember, these 200 naira that has just been introduced now is just for a while. So what happens after 60 days of grace? So necessary things must be put in place to make sure that the notes are in circulation and must be adequate, so that people can live with comfort.
Is the president just looking up from his slumber that money is in the hands of politicians? What of the kidnappers? How much do you think are in the hands of kidnappers? Have they just started kidnapping yesterday?
But look, yes. Let's look at it this. You see, Nigeria is so complex. Nigerians are so difficult. You see, any program, bring any program to Nigeria, you will see that program will fail, and that is what we are facing now. This program,
the timing of this program.
This is the best time.
When you are towards election.
Yes. Now let me ask you a question.
Okay.
If you want to arrest a thief, if you know a particular thief, what you will first of all study is the antics.
Has kidnapping stopped now?
Are you getting what I'm saying? You study the antics of that person.
Has it stopped?
There is what we call characterization in law of evidence. When you study the pattern, we call it modus operandi. The mode of operation of that person is what you will target. Now, if you know that if you go to the house of a thief very early in the morning, that you will not catch him there. If you go to him on the road, he will kill you.
I'm coming anybody now. I'm talking of you are limited to politicians alone. This
also will limit their escapades.
Okay. I'm coming. Those ones are talking about already have the name note even before you have.
I want to say that.
Yes, that's the truth. Yes, and that is the reason. And that is the reason. Because even the central bank
get a result, and to get the needed result, this is the right time for them to act. Except that it would have been better if necessary things have been put in place.
Politicians that bank managers are taking money to go and make a home.
And that is the reason. You see,
my brother, if some politicians that bank managers are going home carrying new narrows to them,
excuse me.
If you that are suffering, that's the truth.
If some let me make this one. If some people have not compromised their position, this program should have been 100% success.
But me and I you.
But when you take a look at the dimension it is taking, some people, have compromised their position.
That's it.
Their exalted position, not just any ordinary position.
This exalted position.
Yes. You see, and that is the reason all of us should bear the brunt.
But now that we are all bearing the brunt,
yes,
one thing is certain. This thing is coming.
Let us now see how who are with the new currencies. with all this new currency.
Listen,
let's see how they will spend it.
Whether right or wrong.
No.
How do we?
I won't go beyond that.
Spend it as it was.
No,
You cannot spend your money now.
Whether right or wrong. Look, whether the timing is right or wrong. Whether the policy is right or wrong.
Yes.
Whether the implementation is right or wrong.
Yes.
We are all living now to be part of the consequence.
We are some people where a parent can't spend his money to take his children to school. One, why we are a mother cannot feed the children. And you are saying it is the right time.
This is the right time.
Well,
you will see what will happen.
Look,
so those who are stockpiling currency,
who are going naked because of their hard-earned money.
The purpose for which they are stockpiling that money will be foiled.
Who foiled it?
It will be foiled.
People said the dealers
will be disappointed.
You have just said that the dealers have a way of dealing with new policies. You see, they'll find the way out.
They will, at this time, they will not find way. They will not find way.
The last topic of the
you will see that they will be disappointed that
they ignore federal government, sell petrol for over 230 liters. Nigerians thrive on petrol. If you look at every facet of our life, it revolves around that natural resource. But unfortunately, it has been made terribly unavailable to Nigerians. Circumstances leading to that, I may not be able to say. Be that as it may, we are in another era of petrol scarcity, whether natural or artificial, I may not be able to say. But the price has jumped to between 230 and 250 naira. Before now, it was sold at around 400, 500 naira per liter. In this same country, the largest producer of oil, of petrol in Africa, the country that prides itself as the giant of Africa. How giant are we now, selling petrol at 230? And times were when petrol was just about 10 naira per liter, and so on and so forth, very affordable. And with the rising cost of the petrol, many other things will be affected in this country. Nigeria, well, let me ask from are we not in trouble with this?
Just quite unfortunate, because there have been a persistent challenges sovereign for Nigerians. We remember that the problem of fuel scarcity and continuous rise in the price of premium motor spirits, widely known as petroleum, it's not of now. There have been ages past, from the past. Many lives have lost, many properties have been damaged. So it is not ideal. We remember that sometimes in the past, stakeholders in the country, like the NLC, the workers, they have all, even Nigerians as a whole, they have called upon leaders that, look, we need refinery. Put our refinery in a good shape so that the prices of these commodities will be lessened, will be able to refine at home instead of sending the crude outside the country, which is now bearing an additional cost on Nigerians. It is not an ideal thing. If we have our refineries, then people will be able to enjoy it, will be able to manage this thing. But government has the blame on one sector, but another problem is how do we manage that refinery? The Nigerian factor, the corruption, is another challenge. And that is what we are all witnessing nowadays. But not aside that one, government, they have the power. The rules, the regulated price now is 185 naira per liter. And that's the price that the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited is dishing out to depots and major marketers. And major marketers are also selling at that price. Then you see other people, other stakeholders, other marketers, the oil marketers, they sell above 250 naira, as far as to 350, even over 400 naira. Nigerians have already witnessed all these things. And the worst of it is the cashless policy that you are that's just added another burden to it. So the Nigerians are not finding it very easy. And despite the fact that the monitoring agents, we have the regulatory agents, monitoring agents, all those things, we are not seeing the result. Several threats have been made by the law enforcement agents, the DSS, that they should apprehend unscrupulous elements that are sabotaging the efforts of the government, but Nigerians are waiting for results. So
let me go to Popola. Nigerians, well, we are all bearing the brunt now.
Yes.
And it is affecting almost all strata of our daily functioning.
Yes.
In Nigeria. Where are we coming from? Where are we going?
You see, we are going to that promised land.
Where petrol will show
that God has destiny for this country. You see one thing. When Abel killed Cain, Cain killed Abel. At a particular time, God appeared to him, and God asked him, "Where is your brother?" Exactly. And he said, "Are you put me in charge of him?
Am I my brother's keeper?
Am I my brother's keeper?" And God said something, that your sin has what? Has exposed you. Your sin has what? Your sin has exposed you. You see, some people think that they are very smart in this country. Some people think that they are greater than every other person in this country. Some people have benefited from illegal proceed. Illegal what?
Proceeds.
Illegal proceeds from anywhere or from everywhere in this country. It is time for them to pay for it. You will see that when we are talking of revolution, you see, those who frustrated the efforts of the president in the issue of new Naira notes, those who have been frustrating the efforts at put refinery in good shape in this country, they are the person that this revolution will consume. And you will see that at the end of the day, they will not be able to achieve their purpose, because they want to put all of us in servitude for the purpose of, exacting their forces on us. They want to be an empire, and it is naturally that empire will collapse, started collapsing. And you will see.
Let me go to that. Because the way you are going, our time is very, very. We have a very few minutes to go.
When you have influence,
Nigeria
have influence positively.
Nigeria is, in fact, while we are giving petrol to some other countries, they are benefiting from it. They never had any crisis up to this moment, and we are the ones supplying them. We are having problems all the time, especially with the refineries and the exportation of our crude and bringing it back for our use. And that has been there for some time. While those countries we are giving petrol to are degenerating, we are degenerating here. What is the way out?
My boy, it is nothing but failure of leadership. Here in this country we have been that a particular government came around and spent money that was supposed to build another refinery they said they used to revitalize. What are you revitalizing? Maybe they started exposing themselves. That we are sorry, as at the time we are restructuring our refineries, we were supposed to build new one. Did they do that? So in whose hand the failure of leadership started not with this government. It's been in the last few successive governments. That when we were supposed to build new refinery, we were spending money
to revitalize.
Whereas we knew that all these equipment are obsolete.
Each equipment has its lifespan.
As far as the pricing is concerned, according to Ejimakede, it's like we have government within government. A government will give a directive, and those of them who are independent marketers will do their own. Yeah. And the government seems like a recipe.
Look, let me ask you, who are the marketers? Are the marketers not all these politicians? And the marketers are not those people
And
who
that's why I
are
said-
voting for different.
And that's why I said
I'm coming.
It's a failure of leadership.
I'm coming.
If you have a serious,
Who is a leader? Who is a leader? Who is a leader in Nigeria? Who is a leader in Nigeria?
You agree that Buhari, the policy of cashless is,
Yes.
is the leader now.
You see, let me tell you. Let me tell you this.
Yes.
When you as a leader, when you give order, and some people started, digging hole around you.
That's why I say it's a failure of leadership.
You see, they are digging hole around
It's
you.
a failure of leadership.
They will have forgotten that if that leader sings, the day of their destruction is also somebody is also is also haunting them.
It's a failure of leadership. How can the government say
they are there of destruction is also closer.
And some people say
Are you getting what
I got 3:30 last night. 3:30.
You see, who is
At the particular place
at the filling station where you bought it?
Is that where are the monitoring agency? There are monitoring agencies. ICPC, EFCC, they are there.
The failure starts from
The top.
from up
It
there.
starts from there, but let me tell you, we have.
Is that those minister of
this Nigeria,
GMD, NPCP,
this Nigeria needs revolution. Until that revolution happens, Nigeria will not go anywhere.
Well,
The country will not move an inch forward. And I think that we started. I mean, that era of revolution now is blowing.
It's blowing.
It's blowing.
For me, it has not even started.
It's blowing. You could, when you sit down now and you look forward, when you see 3 adult people running, 4 adult people, weeping, 5 adult people telling you that they don't even know where the way to their house. Then you know that the prophecy of that drama is what you can
thank you very much. Thank you very much, gentlemen. I want to appreciate your presence on this program and your contributions. Adebade Jumakide, thank you very much. Odibo Ipobola, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And Dayola Nipeko, thank you very much.
I'm happy to be in the newsroom at all time.
Yes, today we have been able to track 3 big topics. We started with election. We are watching Nigeria carefully. That is United Nations. And cashless policy. Buhari extend usage of old 200 naira notes by 60 days. Marketers ignore federal government. Sell petrol for over 230 naira per litre. Those are the topics that we have discussed this afternoon. And I know you have gained 1 or 2 things and you have learned 1 or 2 things about this country. Nigeria belongs to all of us. We should all stay here and salvage it together according to Buhari.
Okay.
But according to General Murtala Muhammad, we will not allow Nigeria to grow up in the dark and drift forever. On behalf of the producer of the program, Oladayo Oladipekun, and the executive producer, Akeola Owolabi, Babatunde Bola Tito is my name. I say have a very rollicking weekend and pray for Nigeria to regain its lost glory. Good afternoon.